Hello, my beautiful people. Today I want to go over your new writing assignment. It is a sequel. I want you to write a sequel of the book by Joan Bauer, Rules of the Road. And I'm sure you haven't read the book yet. Some of you haven't even picked it up. But you're going to have to read the book in order to write the sequel. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about it before you kind of got into it. So Joan Bauer, she is known for writing about teenagers, mostly teenage girls, who overcome difficulties. They're strong characters, usually with the help of an older mentor who kind of takes them under their wing. She's very wise. So you learn a lot as you read these books, just like Jenna, who is the protagonist in this book. She learns a lot from Mrs. Gladstone. Now, Jenna is tall. She's kind of awkward. She loves her job selling shoes and helping customers. And then when her alcoholic father shows up at the shoe store, she handles it pretty well. And Mrs. Gladstone, who is the owner of the store, notices how well she handled herself with her father. And since Ms. Gladstone is being forced out, like there's a takeover on her store, I think her son Eldon, who is like a low life, has something to do with that. She is like in her 80s, and she has to go to the shareholders meeting, but the meeting is in Texas and they live in Chicago. So she basically hires Jenna, who's just like 17, to drive her all the way to Texas. And it is their journey that is so inspiring. I'm not going to tell you any more about the book, but your assignment then is to write a short 1-2 page. Let me say that again, 1 to 2 page. I don't want these long stories. 1 to 2 page story that features either Jenna or Mrs. Gladstone from this book. Like you can just tell the next chapter that happens. Like as the book ends, you can kind of tell what you'd like to happen with the characters. If you're really up for a challenge, write a prequel. You could write how we got to the beginning of the book. That's a lot harder than writing a sequel, so you might not want to do that. You can tell Mrs. Gladstone's story from her perspective. You could give the reader an inside look at Jenna's next job. Maybe Jenna and Faith are grown up now, and what does that look like? Jenna's sister is Faith. So I mean, a sequel. It can be anything. It can be anything. The two things we want you to focus on are writing in a narrative style. That means you're telling the story through your eyes, just like Jenna's doing in the book. And staying true to characterization. Don't change how Jenna or Mrs. Gladstone would react to situations. Be true to their character. I don't want you to change their character. I don't want you to write a description of the characters. I don't want you to be expository, looking at their lives. I don't want it to be a persuasive piece. I want it to be you telling the story from their perspective. So that's really all that I can tell you. Maybe you can bring in a moral theme like those in the book, come up with a new one on your own. Just kind of, pretend you are. Get into one of those characters and tell me more. Just, make it up. Be creative. So if you have any more questions about that writing assignment, let me know. I skipped week 32 because Dear Mr. Henshaw is not one of my favorite books, and I couldn't find it anyway in my library. And you'll get your copy and you can read it if we get to it at the end of school. But I thought Rules for the Road was a much better read. So I hope you enjoy it. Bye.